Welcome to Ben's Best Barbecue, a food travelogue that tastes and ranks the best American barbecue restaurants in the Southwest and beyond. Today's restaurant is Little Miss BBQ in Phoenix, Arizona. Alright, so this is Little Miss BBQ. Remember, this is first being shot in the COVID season. It is July 2020. So unless you're sitting in the patio, you have to go somewhere else. And we are at lovely Dobson Ranch Park because I have business in this area. So like at any place, I'm going to try to get the 2-meat plate. We have brisket and ribs, and I believe my sides were beans and macaroni and cheese. Let's see how this turned out. We did order online, so exactly what we got, we can't exactly find out. And that matters when it comes to the brisket. I have a couple of things of sauce here. I only said one thing with sauce, but they have 2 things of sauce here. I got my ribs on top and my brisket. And when I say you can't specify, I mean that in the restaurant when you are dining in, you can specify whether you want the fatty point brisket or if you want the leaner flat brisket. We got there about an hour and 15 minutes after they opened for the day. And I'm going to try to zoom in here. What we have here is their leaner flat brisket, which is tasty too. You can see here it has a really good smoke ring, and it's pretty tender. The full spare rib, and we do of course have the beans and the mac and cheese, which to me, those are not really the stars of what they do. It's really more about the meat itself. But in addition to that, we also have a couple of sauces. The spicy sauce, I think, 2 things of the spicy sauce, which are a thinner but appropriately sweet and tomatoey with a little bit of vinegar type of flavor to them. Alright, so that's our 2-meat plate. I'll give you the results in just a little bit. And one more thing. My wife very generously lent a piece of turkey for adjudication right here. So the turkey is always really good at Little Miss BBQ, and it's no less today. It is still moist, it is still tender, and there's a good smoke ring along the outside of it as well. The black pepper, which I'm so fond of that they use really liberally, works better on turkey than any of the other meats. I don't think there's much of a better combination than smoked turkey with black pepper. So we have a good number of meats to judge. I think these are among their best meats, but all of them I think set a really good standard for the state of Arizona. So I'm getting into this and into the sides. Let me show you right here with the beans. The beans are mostly meat, as you can see. Oh, very good. I would say the mac and cheese are usually their best side for me. I wouldn't say it's the best mac and cheese that we've had, even at any barbecue place in the state of Arizona, but it does definitely do the trick. So the ribs so far are really quite good. You can see right there. That's quite clean. They passed my lip test, and it's not my test. I have to give a shout out to Jack Scalfani, Jack on the Go, one of the best barbecue traveloggers on YouTube. Get better, Jack, by the way. He came up with this test of pulling the meat off the rib bone cleanly without using the teeth, just using the lips. And Little Miss BBQ, I'm happy to report, they passed that lip test. Everything is peppery, from the beans to the rub on the ribs. I'm going to show you here. You can see that really almost whole black peppercorn that's been cracked there. And they use that same rub for the brisket. It's always really quite nice. I'm a little disappointed in the flat brisket. It took about 15 minutes to drive here from our the Sunny Slope location. So in that time, it lost a little bit of its juiciness, but it's still very flavorful and extremely tender. But it being the flat brisket, not being the fatty point part of the brisket, is not quite as flavorful, or it's not quite as tender, pull-apart tender. I couldn't do it with a fork like I would the point brisket, as I would normally. Alright, enough talking. I'm going to finish this. Of course, I enjoy this meal, and you will see the scores at the bottom of the video or on another title. And here is a summary of the scoring. The categories add up to 100 points, and my assumption for each restaurant is that a 2-meat plate with sides will be available. So here are the scores for Little Miss BBQ. Clearly, the ribs were outstanding. It's difficult to see how they're going to be matched anytime soon. The meat was cooked to very tender and falling off the bone. The rib tip twisted off without much of an effort, which is great for restaurant eating. The flavor of the meat was equal parts sweet smoke, mild pork flavor, and the delicious rub of the black pepper. The flat brisket was not as tender as what I'm used to from there. By the time we ate it, the lean meat had dried out just a little bit. The beans and mac were very hearty, especially the beans, but generally the sides at this restaurant are not quite up to the standard of the meat. The service was good. That's a 10. It was COVID style window service. The value was only a 7. This plate with a drink comes to in the range of $24 to $25. So definitely a once in a while treat. And the sauce is a 4 out of 5. It's a delicious tomato-based sweet sauce, but there's not much more to the flavor than what you immediately taste. It's not a complex sauce. So the total score for Little Miss BBQ is an 84 out of 100. Now, if we were grading this in school, that wouldn't be such a high score, but the way I grade and my snobbishness when it comes to barbecue tells me that this is going to be one of the higher scores in this survey. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and stay tuned for the next installments.